The 2021 deer season has ended, and here's a short video recapping our experiences from the season. As most people know, Louisiana experienced 3 major hurricanes last year, having a dramatic impact on most people in the state, especially South Louisiana. However, our farm was no different, experiencing profound timber damage. With this timber damage, I'm also convinced that many deer died in the storm. With trees flying everywhere, I'm sure that some of them were crushed. In fact, throughout the season, we didn't see nearly as many deer as we expected to see. The hurricanes also brought us over 20 inches of rain, late August and into early September. That created an unfathomable mosquito crop. It was so bad that it was killing cattle in South Louisiana. With most of October being unseasonably warm, the mosquitoes made it absolutely miserable to get into the woods. So, between the mosquitoes and the ongoing cleanup efforts that we had to do to get the farm back in shape, we simply didn't get to hunt the farm this year very much. Thus, we have very little video to show for it. Plus, with all the timber down in the woods, it was all but impossible to get into the woods to hunt, so all the hunting had to take place in the food plots. Nonetheless, here are a few of the bucks that we could find this year, like this beautiful 8-point right here. We believe him to be a 5-year-old. But at 3 years old, he had double forked twos and a beautiful drop tine. Then last year he went back to being a straight 8-point. In fact, I think he was a little bigger last year than he is here, although he does not have the palmation that you see on his right side. Still, quite a handsome fella, and just now getting into his prime. You look on his left G2 there, you can see where he might have the makings of a fork for next year. So can't wait to see what he can do, and it's fun to get to watch him doing their rutting activity like he's been doing here for us. Great afternoon on the blind.
There's old Squiggly Jr. again.
As I just mentioned, this is a buck we call Squiggly Jr. Look at his left main beam there. Now later in the video you're going to see a deer we think might be his daddy, or certainly the same gene pool, who also has that same squiggle on the left, hence the name of this one Junior. Watch and see.
This is the same buck that I rattled up the other day. He's on a hot doe. They all got past me before I was able to get my camera going. Handsome fellow. You can see his squiggle there.
I think this is a really handsome buck. By that I mean very attractive. Look at that beautiful white face he has. I think that's very unique. Very handsome buck. Nice set of antlers too. I believe this buck to be a 5-year-old also. We watched him last year. It's the first time we ever noticed him last year. He was smaller than he is here. He made a pretty good jump. And he has everything you want to look for in a deer that's got trophy potential. Good width, good tine length, good frame. Beautiful deer in every way.
He's looking for his doe. She got across pretty fast. Steady walk, never stopped. He came out in a hurry, and then he got there, he stopped. He was trying to find out where she went into the woods. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. There's that one. And there's that one. And there's that one. Now that one's the princess. Pulled him out of the woods on a string. So let's see if these two are going to get along. So far, corn seems to be the great equalizer. We can all be friends while we're eating corn. I have to believe if you look at my girlfriend, though, you could get in trouble. The boys seem more interested in corn than girls. It's December the 21st, and this is the very buck I hope to catch. It's a beautiful afternoon. That's a 6-year-old. He's been an 8-point with double fork twos. He's been a 10-point. And now he's this. Handsome buck. The rut's over. He looks to be in pretty good shape. And he's in a lush field of Durana clover, radishes, turnips, chicory, red clover. He should recover nicely. He's a handsome fellow. Look at that head. This time of the year, that's about the easiest way to age him. Of course, it helps so much to know the deer. And I've been watching him for 3 years, so that helps an awful lot. Lots of mass. And we'll turn the camera off for a second, look at him with my binoculars. Well, it doesn't look like he's going to stick around much. Now, believe it or not, this deer was in the 180s. Last year I found both of his sheds in this very field. He's not going to make that this year. It shows how much they can go up, down, up, down. A lot of things determine that. He may have caught a whiff of my scent, I'm not sure. Now there's a nice looking buck. Squiggly. He's finally made the scene. I've hunted this deer, trying to get him in hard antler for years, unsuccessfully. So I kind of feel good about myself that I finally caught him. It's going to start raining in about 30 or 40 minutes. It's cold. And I've got more deer out in the field today than I've ever seen on this farm at one time. This was the 12th buck that's walked out. And I got another 15 does. There you go. Tell me that's not handsome. So this buck is either 8 or 9. I've seen him a grand total of, I filmed him in velvet last year, and I've seen him twice in hard antler this year. That's the only times I've ever seen him in hard antler, ever. He qualifies as handsome. I found one of his sheds a couple of years ago, and extrapolating from the shed that I found, he was 198. I think at this age he's gone down some. I don't think he's that big anymore. I'm sure he's not that big anymore. But he's very handsome. He likes radishes, too. I like feeding him radishes. He thinks he wants this little corn feeder here all to himself. I think he wants to make sure that everybody knows he's the kingpin. Think there'll be any argument? I don't. Nope. You just hear all kinds of myths about deer. Mature deer don't come to a corn feeder. And it has everything to do with pressure and timing. Today is actually a perfect day for deer hunting. It rained 3.5 inches yesterday and into the night. 3/4 of an inch the day before that. Turned cold today, so it's plenty cold for Louisiana at any rate. And it's going to start raining again in about 30 minutes. While it's only about 5 o'clock, it's exceptionally dark already. And I think that's why he came out early. I'm just really excited to finally get him. I wish he'd pick his head back up. He's just beautiful. Look at the mass on that buck. Guarantee you he's got 45 inches of mass. Maybe more.
So that's the video we got of the deer for the 2020-2021 deer season. As I mentioned, it was a really tough year. We couldn't get into the woods for all the down timber, and the mosquitoes were so horrific. We only could hunt the food plots, and the deer weren't really coming out to the food plots till much later. There was so much browse in the woods. As a result, we simply didn't get much video. But I do feel fortunate. We found Squiggly out there. He's very handsome, and Squiggly Jr., you can see how those two deer compared. And along with good fortune, I was able to find Squiggly's left side here. You can see how amazing it is. And in fact, the G2 right here is 7 inches around in circumference. Amazing. I also mentioned in the video that 2 years ago, I found his right side. You can see that here. You can see the palmation and the tremendous mass. And actually, in this year, he grew a G5, so he was really even a little bigger than this right here. I mean, clearly a 190 class buck, beautiful in every way, tremendous mass. So, with that in mind, we'll go see if we can find him next year, see what he grows up to be, see if he will grow up some. And it's February 2nd right now. I guess it's time to start trying to grow deer for next year. Stay tuned.